Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sincerely Agile with Mary. Now, today we're going to be talking about raising the profile of blue collar jobs. Now, on this show, we try as much as possible to cover, quite a lot of grounds. So we could be talking about humanity, education, business, career, leadership, diversity and inclusion, or even the African continent. However, the goal is to promote the lean agile mindset, to learn, unlearn, and relearn, and to make change agents of us. So we really want our audience to leave every session with some form of call to action, or at least some food for thought. That is the goal on this show every time we come live. So today, our topic is raising the profile of blue collar jobs. And to do justice to this conversation, I have Bolanle Edwards, the CEO at Mary Edwards Interior Designs. And I am bringing her to the screen. Hello, Bolanle. Welcome to the show.
I'm so glad to be here. Good evening. Sister Omoye, like I call you.
And you are my aburo.
Yes, so good evening. I'm so glad to be on Agile. Finally, Sincerely Agile with Mary.
Sincerely Agile with Mary. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
I know you're doing amazing work in this interior space, and I just can't wait for you to share your story. However, before we press on, let me introduce you to our audience. Now, Bolanle Edwards is the COO at Mary Edwards Interior Designs, an interior design and space management company. Coming across alarming statistics in 2009 on child safety, Strap and Safe Child Foundation, a not-for-profit organization, was birthed. She is a die-hard child safety advocate at home, on our roads, and at school. However, that is a conversation for another day. She holds a BSc in Business Administration, a Master's in Labor Relations from the prestigious University of Lagos, Akoka. I'm actually very proud to say I went to that university also. So, great Akokite.
Great.
She also holds a diploma in interior design from Allison School of Design. In the last 24 years, her experience cuts across various multinational companies, but her love for design has launched her into the real sector, where she provides services for both soft and hard interior finishing, as well as running a block molding factory. A member of the Nigerian Institute of Management, NECA Network of Entrepreneurial Women, and Road Safety Coalition of Nigeria. Of course, she's into road safety and all of that. She's a natural with teenagers and youths, and a very passionate marriage counselor. When she is not working, she loves to travel, loves to cook, watch movies, and spend quality time with family. I'm happy you still love to cook, because I don't like cooking anymore. I don't like cooking at all. As you know, I had a restaurant for a very long time. Not too long. I had a restaurant for about 8 years. And I think that has actually affected me. Today, I don't even want to boil water. I don't want to boil egg, let alone make a whole meal. So I'm happy you can still cook, so I can always come to your house.
I'm trying. I'm trying. It's a struggle, but we find a way around it.
I know. So it's such a pleasure to have you here, Bola. Let's just see who we have with us here in terms of our audience. Let's see. We've got Stella da Silva. She's always showing up for me. She's saying all about take homes. Hello, Bolanle.
Hi.
And Mobola Idoraji is also saying hello.
Hi.
Okay, cool. Evening, Mary. Femi Adelusi is here. Thank you so much for being here. Now, Bolanle, talking about the blue collar sector. I know as Africans that we are quite biased to the formal sector, Our parents want us to be doctors, lawyers, engineers, computer scientists. In fact, growing up, sometimes if you didn't make it to the science class, it's as though you have failed your parents, right?
Absolutely.
Now, over the years, what I have, observed is that we have paid very little attention to the blue collar sector, which is quite unfortunate because it is a huge sector, right? And going back a few years, it wasn't always like that. And I'll tell you a short story. When my brother got married, I remember he's told this story several times. Every time we're talking about blue collar, sector, he would always talk about this story. He talked about a carpenter that made his furniture for him when he got married, the beds, the chairs, the dining table. And he, often talked about how impeccable the work he did for him was. Now, this gentleman, which was, I think he was in his, by this time he was a middle-aged man, was trained during the colonial era. He was trained at a time when we took the blue collar sector very seriously, at a time when we took vocational training very, very seriously. And I even remember my mother going to adult education classes at the time. This was like in the 70s. Honestly, once upon a time, we paid attention to all of that. What happened? And why is it that today we are so reluctant to go into that sector? Why the reluctance to take on blue collar roles today?
Okay. Can you hear me very well?
I can hear you.
Good. So I'm going to hit the ground running by giving you a foundation to all of this. And I did a research work, and what I got from that was the statistics that I got that says that about 13.9% people get employed in white collar jobs. Sorry, blue collar jobs. Blue collar jobs, 13.9%. White collar jobs has about 59.9%. So question is, why so much huge gap between the two of them? Why the huge gap? 13.9, 59.9. If my math is very correct, somewhere I know you're very good with mathematics. How many? how many percentage do we have missing there? 13.9 minus 15, 59.9. That's close to about
40.
About 40%. Yeah. That is huge.
It is.
That is huge. What went wrong? Why go for more white collar jobs and not the blue collar jobs? I will start by first defining what exactly we mean by the blue collar jobs, because I tell you a lot of people don't even know that there's what they call blue collar jobs. And I will take you to the point where we have different color jobs. We have the green, we have the red, we have the pink, we have the yellow. But I will stick to my blue because that's where I belong. So the blue collar jobs are the jobs we call the alagbara jobs. Sorry, I'm speaking Yoruba. I will interpret. The agbara jobs, the powerful jobs, the muscular jobs, menial jobs, jobs that you will need energy to make sure that you deliver what you have to. You look at the people in the mining, manufacturing, production, painting, name them. They're all there. Manufacturing, typically labor job, people doing agric. These are the people we are looking at who go for the blue collar jobs. Then the question you're asking is, why don't people go for the blue collar jobs anymore? What went wrong? Okay, my memory serves me right. I recall very well. I know I didn't go to school at the same time as you did with my older sister, but I recall then that back then in the 80s, early 80s, you had started going for either science classes, art class, commercial class. Yeah. Okay. You're done with that with high school, then you now go into the higher institution where you now know exactly where you belong. That way, you're now fitted into either university or what we call a federal polytechnic in this part of the world, Nigeria, because that is where I'm coming from. And that I'm going to use a lot of scenarios from Nigeria. And I think the problem started when government began to relegate the federal polytechnic schools to the back burner. Because I tell you, if a lot of people had paid attention, if the government had paid more attention to the federal polytechnics, what we have now wouldn't be this bad. Because for me, at that time, it was like people will go to the polytechnics. Maybe they're the not so good, not so brilliant, not so intellectual, but it's the other way around. People who found themselves in the polytechnic polytechnic schools are meant to be the ones who are so detailed at what they do. These are people who learn the real core, raw. They learn everything raw, not just in the classroom, but outside of the classroom.
It's not just theoretical. It's not just theoretical.
Exactly.
It's actually hands-on.
Yes, so it's beyond the four walls of the classroom. And my sister, my older sister, I recall so well, went to a federal polytechnic. She did not like it. She didn't like it because she felt that everybody is going to university and she didn't go. Why would she go to a polytechnic? If the mindset at that time had helped a lot of people to recalibrate, to know for sure that going to a polytechnic does not demean you. I think that was where the problem started from. Everyone who found themselves or herself in the polytechnic still wanted to go to a university. Because when you go to a polytechnic, you do what they call the OND, ordinary level, and you go to the higher level called the HND. That way your knowledge is intensified. You know much better than you had learned under the OND. Now, question is, how come everyone who has gone to the polytechnic hasn't put what they've learned into use? Maybe not everybody, but I know that a lot of people who went to such schools just felt that, you know what, I need to get more. There's more. I need to do more. I need to obtain more knowledge. So they went to the university, they went and obtained PhD, they went for their MBA, and they went for the white collar jobs. They went for the white collar jobs. You know,
but this is because of the bias in the market. I mean, because I know a lot of people who, even when they get into the same organizations, you find that their peers who have a BSc or, who have a university degree are doing better than the ones who went to polytechnic. So we need to, change that mindset in society. And as a matter of fact, I actually think people who went to the polytechnic are much more grounded. They have the practical experience. And another thing I absolutely loved about the polytechnic is the sandwich approach, where you could take a year out to actually go and work and have that, apprenticeship or internship kind of experience as part of your program, which we never really had in the university. So quite frankly, the bias should be the other way around.
It should be the other way around. You see, that was why I started by laying the foundation that I think we got it all wrong from when we should have corrected this. And right now, because I recall I can use myself as an example as well. My father told me, until you get an admission to university, polytechnic is a no-go area for you. It's a no-go area for you. So I did 9 months. I did 9 months in a polytechnic. I said, I'm tired of staying at home. I'm not going to stay at home for another 1 year because of jam. And I said, my father said, you're on your own. Just go. I'm not going to take care of you. Just be there. My mother said, don't worry, I will support you. So I did the 9 months. I acquired the knowledge I needed. Then I still went over to University of Lagos. So, the anomaly should have been corrected. And now, I'm going to give you statistics of polytechnics that we have in Nigeria. As it is now, we have about 64 polytechnics in Nigeria. And the university is a lot. It's huge. We have well over 200 universities. Wow. Federal, state, private, cut across. So what are we churning out at the end of the day? Are we bringing graduates who are going to go for blue-collar jobs, or you're going to add more to the unemployment that's already existing in our country?
Wow.
So let me pause there for now.
As a matter of fact, I know a friend tried to employ some graduates, okay? And as part of the recruitment process, she gave them a scenario and she said they should write a report. Okay. And one of them was struggling and she said, they didn't teach me that one, a report on a scenario. So what are we churning out, even for the formal sector? I mean, our educational system, there's a lot of questions to be asked there. But just before we continue, let me see what our audience are saying, because I often like to engage our audience. I have Stella, you know, I'm all about vocational education. Exactly. Stella is heavy on that, heavy on that. And I have white collar versus blue collar, interesting topic from Kemi there. I agree with you, Bola, absolutely, because Abe went to a polytechnic and equally went to a university just because she wanted to safeguard herself, you know, from this bias. Absolutely. So let's go back to our question. So continue, please, Bola.
Okay. So I'm going to go over to why do we have, are we on the second question now?
No, we're still on the first question. You were talking about
the first one. Yes.
Yeah.
So right now we're having we're having challenges of, especially for the children, let me not call them children, graduate that we have been churned out from private university. We have quite a number of them right now. I will not mention names, but I can tell you categorically, because I do try to employ some of them. They try to do internship with me. And when I interview them, they don't have the skill sets. The skill set for the job, the kind of job we do, they do not have it. I would also not forget to tell you that so many of them are being taught entrepreneurship in the final year. In fact, they give them the opportunity to also go for internship for like 6 months. So at the end of the day, really, what do you get? And you begin to hear, okay, what did you have in school? Oh, I had a 2-1. Oh, I had a first class. You know, and I'm wondering, you had all of these good results and there's nothing to show for it. You can't write a report. You can't use an Excel sheet. You can't, you're not so IT savvy. And you go on the street. Okay, go do a survey. You're coming back to tell me, oh, I'm so sorry, ma. I don't know exactly. I don't know how to get to the next bus stop. I don't know how to get to the next street. So they're not streetwise. They don't have the skill set, and they're churning out very well half-baked graduates.
Half-baked graduates.
Half-baked graduates. So the challenges are there. I'm still of the school of thought that the polytechnics, I'm not saying that I'm not trying to compare here, but I'm telling you that polytechnics are still very good when it comes to blue collar jobs. And it's not like it's everybody that goes to the to polytechnics that go for blue collar jobs anyway. Exactly. A whole lot of people that went to these schools, they still go out to go for the professionals. They work in the banks, you know, they're working as an IT professionals and all that. But I tell you, if we're able to correct that anomaly in our system, especially in Nigeria, we will begin to see more people go out for more blue collar jobs. Anyway, the unemployment rate right now is skyrocketed. It's overwhelming.
It's hard.
So it's really overwhelming. So a lot of people are doing self-help. They're doing self-help. They're going, they're becoming business owners by themselves now.
By themselves, yes. So they're taking the initiative to start something, and a lot of people are probably doing, because one thing that I know now that's so common is people are going into this food business, especially during this COVID period. So people are taking the initiative and doing stuff.
To do that.
Now, I'm just going to give you the background to this. Manage it like that to a great extent has become a way of life in Nigeria, in the Nigerian context. Manage it like that. You call a plumber. You call a plumber to fix a small problem. Your house could be flooded, in a very short time. You take your car to the mechanic with one problem, you may well come away with 5 more problems. Again, this is due to the fact that, we have not been training. How can we change this, anomaly? How can we get back to a point where we value training and continuous development? Because this is what is happening in the West. I'm not saying, you probably don't have people in the West that would also be biased to formal education. But the point is, we have that enabling environment. If you want to be a plumber, there's a school to go to be a plumber.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you want to be a mechanic, we have all these vocational centers. As you saw there, Stella is heavily into vocational training. We can't all end up as doctors and lawyers. So we really need to create that environment. So what do we do? How do we begin to, create that environment? I know you do a lot already creating internships, but what can the government do? Is this something we should even be looking to the government to do? Because the government sometimes can't even help themselves. So is this something we should even be looking to them to do?
Okay, I think you have two questions intertwined there. I will take it one after the other. The first one is about the manage it factor.
Yeah,
Just manage it.
manage it like that.
We found ourselves in the manage it environment because the government is not even the government has set the precedence. You see, we have a government. I'm not one of those people that lay blames. My own is find a solution. Look for a way out and stop talking about the spilled milk. Let's look for a solution out of this problem and move on. So the government, and we have the government, we have the people who have constituted this problem for ourselves. And I will give you a scenario. I call myself a lady carpenter because I do woodwork. In my interior business so far in the last 15 years, I've seen all sorts of artisans. I work with painters, I work with plumbers, I work with tilers, I work with what are these people called again? They're structural people when we want to do some structural modeling of a house. I work with architects. But I tell you that the frustration comes mostly from these artisans because of the same factor you just spoke about. Manage it. Manage it. Manage it has destroyed our jobs. It has ended appropriately the kind of relationship we have with clients. And it has also, of course, reduced the income that you're getting. You see, you can't do this job by yourself. You need people to work with you.
Yeah.
And if you don't have them doing the job they need to do on a top-notch basis, then there's a problem. So the problem of managing factor is all encompasses. We are the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. We are all involved in this. When a business owner cannot put eye to details on the kind of job you're doing, as a business owner, you personally has not imbibed the culture of detailing into your business ethics, then you would have a problem.
But that's the problem though, because look, you've just told me you work with artisans, tiler, bricklayer, whatever.
Yes.
You've mentioned at least 5 or 6. This is not so much about you as a business owner.
Some business owners are like that.
No. My point here is this. Ideally, the carpenter should know what they are doing.
In a normal situation.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, ideally, they should know what they are doing and they should do it to the highest standard.
Absolutely.
The reason you then have to keep looking at what people are doing is extra stress on you. That's the way I see it. But ideally, they should know what they are doing. But because they don't, you then have to pay attention to everything they are doing, which is extra stress and extra work for you.
Absolutely.
Do you see where I'm coming from?
I know. I will take it from the angle of the artisans, then we'll move up to the business owner.
Okay.
You see, it's two-sided, and we have to balance this discussion.
Yeah.
The artisans already have their own issues, which is they lack details. That is the way they have, that's the way they've been wired up, and they will continue to be like that. I don't see them changing, and you can't change them. And for business owners, a business person who got a project, one project in the West, one in the North, and one in the South at the same time. And already you know that just one is enough headache. One needs your attention, and you are not there to make sure that due diligence is done to what you're given. Your product, your service must be top notch. Then you go take up this project in 3 different locations at the same time. That is the angle where I'm coming to. The artisans have their own issues. Business owners have their issues as well.
Yeah.
So when the client is calling you from the north and asking you, what happened to this thing that you've done for me? I don't like it. Another one is calling you. Now you've spread yourself so thin.
Yeah.
You have not been able to train properly the ones that you're managing. At what point can we say no as a business owner?
Exactly. That's a very good one, Bola. That's a very,
At
very
what
good one.
point?
Because you see, you have to say, you know what, I'm sorry, I don't have the capacity for this.
I can't do
Instead of
this.
instead of ruining your reputation.
Absolutely. And you know, it goes a long way. It's either you choose for yourself a short-term contract with your client, or it's going to be a long one. I see a client calling me back 10 years after and say, Bola, I call them callback customers. And I have one I'm working for currently. I worked for him about 11 years ago. And he called me 11 years after. Peradventure, had done a very miserable job, or I didn't pay eyes to details, I didn't pay attention to details, I'm sure he will not call me back. That is where we should see ourselves. But I see a lot of business owners not paying attention to details. Once they have done the business, they move on. So I'm not going to just focus on the white collar guys alone. It also encompasses the business owner as well. That is why I wanted to balance the equation.
I
Yeah.
totally like the way you've answered that. And that happens a lot because a lot of business owners just want to bite more than they can chew.
Absolutely.
Looking at just the immediate gain instead of the long-term, business relationship.
Business relationship.
And of course, knowing fully well that you can't be in Lagos, for example, and commission somebody in the north or in somewhere else to do the job without you managing that process, knowing fully well that we have challenges with our artisans. So that was a very good point there. And Stella is saying there should be a proper vocational education strategy in Nigeria. Tell me about it, Stella. You and I know that, and they all know that, but they've refused to do the right thing. And Ronke, that's the key mindset. Manage it, they say. Yes, so that's why artisans from neighboring countries are preferred, which is so true. That's a very good point, actually.
I'll come to that.
We are next door to Cotonou, right?
To Cotonou.
So today, when you go to an estate, you have them there. The people from Togo, people from Cotonou doing tiling because Nigerians can't do tiling. This is a sad story. This is a sad story.
I mean, I see that happen all the time. We have different people do different things. Like for myself in interior design corridor, I have carpenters, and the carpenters, we look at the people who are good at doing furniture. Then we have people who are good at doing the tiling especially. The Togolese guys, they are fantastic when it comes to tiling. I have used our Nigerian guys. A few of them get it right once in a while, but they can actually leave you hanging on the job and just abandon the job on you. I've seen that many times. But the Togolese guys will see it through and through. They pay attention to details. Then you look at people who are the bricklayers. I will come to where the molding factory, of course, which you're aware of, the block molding factory. I don't have, they're barely, the fraction of Nigerians who are molding the blocks, very little. They're non-Nigerians. Why do we have this problem? Why are Nigerian artisans being churned out daily? They go through training. Stella, let me also let you know that they go through training. They go through what they call interim apprenticeship.
Okay.
You know, you're aware of that. They go through apprenticeship. It could be for 2 years. It could be for 3 years.
Okay, and so Bola, let me stop you there for a moment, please.
Okay.
Okay, you're responding to Stella here that we should have vocational training. And what you're saying is that we do have them.
We do have them.
So if we're churning out, people who don't know what they are doing, then we really need to question the quality of those vocational schools, right?
I will tell you how the school is done. We don't have proper school, as it were.
Okay.
The people going under other people to learn the job are apprenticed.
Okay.
These are the old foreman, the bricklayers, and all of that. Now sanity is being put into such all different sectors now under the Ministry of Poverty Alleviation.
Okay.
In each state in Nigeria. But I can tell you, at least Lagos State, where I stay and I reside in, I know that the ministry is very involved with making sure that people learn skills. So we have people who learn sewing, people who learn tailoring business, fashion and design, Greek, people who are into art and crafts. Then again, we also have people who have taken it upon themselves as a not-for-profit job. They do it and they make sure that anybody who goes through their school is well grounded. And I will give a scenario of what has happened about 2 years ago. A friend of mine in collaboration had come together to look at how we can get female upholsterers. These are female who can change the covers of sofas. Why do we choose women? Women at times they're breadwinners once in a while when it's not going so well with the husband, or even single parents, widows. So we looking at how we can bring in this woman to pay attention to upholstery job. I do upholstery, but I tell you, if I do not look at what those guys are doing, I would have to go back and do the job again. So we've been able to empower some of these ladies to do upholstery. So we have lady upholsterers, we have lady carpenters who have been taught thoroughly by the books and by the workshop, not just by the books alone. So this is happening, and Lagos State is also encouraging the women to come into such schools and they can support such people. So I can say for free that is ongoing, and we are getting better by the day, but it's still a very long journey to go.
Okay. Stella, I guess we're just using the word school here interchangeably, but we really mean vocational center. Very good response, Bola. So you're doing the best that you can, but from what you have just said, it looks like the government really needs to step up in terms of probably the way these vocational centers are structured, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And don't forget that in Nigeria, we have different states. So the northwest, south, and east, you have the way everybody attacks such challenges. They're different.
Totally different.
Totally different. I can't even begin to boast of some other state, right? I don't even have what it takes. Some don't even have what it takes. Yeah,
I see what you mean. So now we've talked about how, the blue collar sector is, it's not the most attractive for a lot of people in our country. Now, but some have taken the initiatives, people like yourselves, to leverage that formal knowledge that you have and combine that with your passion for what you do today. So, for example, you're into interior design, both hard and soft, and you also make blocks, right?
Yes.
You make blocks for building.
Yes.
And one thing I know for sure, we've had a lot of collapsed buildings. You hear 3-story building has collapsed, 4-story building has collapsed. People have died due to poor quality work and bricks, obviously. Now, tell us your story. How have you been able to bring sanity to this sector and to sort of raise the profile of this sector?
Okay,
Tell us about your interior designs. Tell us about the ME blocks as well.
Okay. I will keep it short. I started the journey about 15 years ago. I used to work for an oil and gas business, and I wanted more. I needed to just acquire more knowledge in designing. So each time I was in the office, I saw myself looking into designs and all of that. So I told myself, I said, you know what, you need to leave this job and get knowledge on design itself. So I resigned in 2005 and I began Bolanle Edwards Interior Designs. And I started with friends and family. I've always loved to just rearrange, throw colors here and there, give me an empty space and I will design it for you. But I needed to take it a step further, a notch higher than where it was. And I went to school, I learned. I also learned by, of course, the streets, what's it called? Streetwise is very important. That street knowledge is very key. I made my mistakes. I burnt my fingers. I made my mistakes. I got corrected. I went back. I reworked it and redrew the lines. And I said, you know what? I've come to stay in this business. So that I've been doing for that long. And our clients has cut across individuals and professionals. And I work with so many people, and that's why I told you that people still call us back to say, hey, come back, I like what you do, and come back to do it. Then about 3 years ago, I just wanted to, just like the scenario you painted, that we're having cases of collapsed building everywhere, and for me, it's being a safety advocate as well. It kills me when I hear that there's a crash or there's a building collapse somewhere. and there was one that actually happened about 3 years ago. It was a school, and so many of the children got trapped in it and all that. Okay, do we have a government parastatal that takes care of integrity tests? Oh yes, we do. So what went wrong? We have what they call the Safety Commission, and the Safety Commission is meant to give integrity tests to every building that comes up. Anywhere you find yourself, either in the north, the west, the east, like in Lagos, we have the Lagos State Safety Commission. So this commission is meant, even if a building has been erected to 50 floors, like 20 years ago, 50 years ago, an integrity test must be conducted on that building to be ISO certified. But what we get is not, it's the other way around. Now we have a building collapse. Everybody is a builder. And I see the problem starts from, where have we become owners of building? We had to bring in ourselves and fill in the vacuum that the government is meant to fill in.
Yeah.
In the developed country where you live, the government provides such. Nobody will wake up and say, you know what, I just want to wake up, I feel like building a house. The government will provide. And if you intend, at the end of the day, you want to do that, there are procedures for you to do so. But here, everybody wants to be a homeowner. Everybody's building. And you're not even thinking of what is being churned out as the materials used for this building. And that was why blocks came in. I looked at the situation around and I told my husband, I said, it's been on my heart to do blocks. And not just blocks, but well vibrated building blocks that can be used to build. And integrity test is 100%. In fact, it's 101%. And when we started, it looks like, I had to go acquire the knowledge. I actually went to a yard where blocks are being made. A friend of mine has such a yard, and I went there to go learn. I took my books, my pen, I was writing. I did videos. And he said, no, ma, you didn't have to come. I said, you see, this is the Nigerian factor. You see everybody as one big madam. Let everybody go through the learning curve.
Wow, that is powerful. Bola, that is so powerful.
I had to know the rudiments.
This is so powerful.
Yeah.
This is so powerful, and I really need to emphasize on that.
Yeah.
You wanted to go into a block business.
Yes, please.
You didn't just think, okay, I'm just going to get a yard, I'm going to put a few guys together. You wanted to know all the intricacies of it because there's a safety catch there.
Absolutely.
If these blocks are not to the highest standard, there could be a building collapsing somewhere. People could be dying somewhere. And you have actually gone into this business to correct this anomaly, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Now, the people that are supposed to be teaching you are saying, Madam, you don't have to come. Again, I'm trying to pull you back to the mindset now.
Yes.
I'm trying to pull you back to the mindset. That mindset, oh, you are a madam. What are you doing here? I'm here to learn. And that should be the mindset that whatever there is that we need to do, there's a process to it. I tell people, even to boil an egg, there's a process to boiling an egg.
Absolutely.
If you want your hard-boiled egg, there's a way to go about that. If you want your 5 minutes egg like I do, there's a way to go about that. How much more when it comes to,
such delicate matters.
Such delicate matters, exactly. So that's a good one, and I really need to applaud you for that.
Thank you. So when I looked at that sector, I said, you know what, we can bring insanity to this sector, and if everybody begins to look at it in such a way that you own it, you'll be a master in what you do. Own it. I've always tried to wear the shoes of the people who are going to be using my services and products. Maybe that's why I do what I do. I try to be on the other's flip side and say, okay, what would my client be thinking if I do these curtains this way? Would you like me to paint his bedroom in black? Would you like white? Would you love yellow? So I begin to look and study my clients even before going into what I do. So when I saw that anomaly in the way people are having tragedy because of building collapse, we are losing property, we are losing lives. Then I said, you know what? Why are people not? He said, yes, because they are cutting corners.
Yeah.
They are cutting corners. Instead of, for a block now, for instance, you could say that, let's use about for about 100 blocks, you want to use about 5 bags of cement. But you see some people using 3.5, or they just use 3. And the granite dust is not enough. They don't put enough quantity that they should go into it. In fact, I've heard people tell me that, this granite dust you're using is so expensive. How do you want to make up for that? And I tell them, it's not about what it costs. It's about the aftermath of, the events. I would like a situation where after I deliver to my clients and they come back to me and say, wow, do you know your blocks are so studded, they're so strong. And that was why we went to it and said, no matter, you just pay a little premium. I'm sure people will not mind paying a little premium for quality.
For quality.
So that's where we should get to. Why don't you pay a little premium for that? I know people will sell bread for 200 naira, and we know people will sell bread for 500 naira. Why would I go for people who sell bread for 500 naira? It's because I prefer the bread. Bread is probably well baked. It can stay 3-4 days. It's very nice to the taste. And I would rather go for the 500. And maybe once in a while I could go for the 200. I said, okay, well, I could go for that. So why would you go for quality and not the quantity? So quality is key in business delivery. As a business owner, you must take quality as your first and first. Like we say, safety first. First and first is quality first. Every other thing can be added. You can now think of, what have I put in? Okay, this is the profit I'm going to make after putting in such amount of money into that service and delivery. So quality is very key. So that is why we do meat blogs, and we haven't had anybody complain so far.
Because, you said it all. It's about putting out quality and charging the premium for it. But we also need to move away from looking for cheap stuff. If you pay for cheap, you get cheap. It's that simple, really. You get cheap if you pay for cheap. So, and one thing I really like that you've said is when you decided to go into this blog business, you didn't just assume you knew everything or just put a bunch of people together. You actually went to learn. And I really hope, we can take a cue from that so that we can move away from this manage it like that culture. Stella said they won't integrity test. Explain, please.
Okay, in the safety sector, HSC, health, safety, and environment, we call integrity test as what is being conducted on materials that is being used to build. So they go there and take samples of the soil. They can do integrity test on the soil before you even lay the foundation at all. They can do integrity test on an existing building by just taking a chip from that building and take it to the lab to test if that building should still be standing. We actually do have buildings that are old. Even in the UK, you have buildings that are like 100 years old, and they need to bring them down. They know where to bring them down. I was watching a documentary the other day, and the documentary was all about this building that had been standing for over 100 years. And they were just planning to bring it down when the building eventually came down by itself.
Wow.
Yes. So if you have such buildings, they need to come down, not naturally, but by people making sure that they take proactive steps to avert any danger, loss of lives and loss of property.
In a controlled manner.
The controlled manner. Very, very key. So that's what integrity test is about.
Yeah. And well, she's agreeing with you here that there is no standardization and that it's always a good idea to have the craft first. Absolutely. Serving quality can only be deliberate. Absolutely. Absolutely. And charge premium for it. I mean, take for example, as you know, I'm a trainer. My training is not cheap. My training is not cheap at all. But I deliver value. I deliver outcomes and I deliver impact. But I've had people tell me, oh, it's expensive. I'm like, that's because of what you're getting, you see. So we need to move away from wanting cheap also, because if you pay cheap, you get cheap.
You get cheap.
And then said that what level 1 first, health and safety.
Level 1 first, health and safety, HSC. We call it HSC, yes.
And then Kemi is laughing away here. Okay. Okay, so I'm sure, let's see if there are any more questions. Okay, there's something here. Poverty and and lack are pushing people to force their way into jobs and trades where they lack. That is so true. That is so true.
That's very true.
And this is why everybody just becomes something all of a sudden,
Yes,
because there's a
yes.
need. So how do we help these people?
But you see, there's where you separate the boys from the men.
Mm-hmm.
There is that place where you're going to have to separate yourself. You see, the world has become a global village now.
Yeah.
That if you're not careful, what you're doing, other people will critique it and bring you down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in your own interest. It's very good for you to know what you do.
Yeah.
Be mastery at what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Know what you do by yourself for yourself.
Yeah.
There was a situation, I think about 2 weeks ago. A client called me up, a client who just returned from the UK who lives in Nigeria. And he tells me, oh, I would like some blinds to be fixed in my home. He just bought a beautiful home in Ikoyi. Please note Ikoyi. Some of you know where Ikoyi is.
Mm-hmm.
So then he comes and says, oh, I would like you for you to fit in and this and that. But guess what? But let me let you know one thing, that I've also asked other people to give me quotes. So don't come giving me this heavy bill. Then I said, well, I'm going to give you what I think you should get as service charge.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what others have given to you, but I don't work with others. I'm going to work by the way I work professionally, and I will charge you a professional fee. Then he saw it and it goes, wow. Madam, this is very expensive. Oh, I don't think I can go for this. Oh, because my budget was so and so X amount. Then I tell him, I know he's a returnee, and I know that he will not even get that for that value in the UK where he's coming from.
Exactly.
Then I told him, I said, I'm sorry, but I won't go with this. If I had told him that I was going to go for that, I would probably compromise in my service delivery.
Which you wouldn't do, which you are not prepared to do.
Which I'm not ready to do. So I told him, I'm sorry, I will not do it. Just give me my professional fee, and I walked away. And he said, professional fee again? I said, yes. We came to the site to do inspection. We didn't come there free of charge. We spent money. Then I sat down, spent nothing less about 3, 4, 5 hours preparing your quotation. And you are telling me now that, it's so expensive. Maybe I should cut it down by this and this amount. I said, that won't even cut it. So I told him, I said, no, I would, if I was Bolanle of about 10 years ago, I'll probably want to bond my, just to squeeze myself. Okay, let me just do it, even if I don't make money. But I tell you, people don't appreciate that. I've had my fingers burnt all the time. I want to set a standard. I want to carve a niche for myself. And I love feedback from my customers and my clients. If they tell me, what you did this, I don't like the way your boys even spoke with us, I will go back and correct that anomaly. I will go back. If it means me having to let go that particular person, I let go. And if it was the way I handle the client myself, I work on myself and I make sure that it doesn't happen again. So really, people will go into what they do not know about. Like I tell you, the shaft will be separated at the end of the day from the seed itself. They will separate from the boys from the men. Know what you do, be a master at what you do.
Yeah, and I totally agree with what you have said. And in particular, I want to draw attention to the fee you charged when when it wasn't going to go with your quotation anymore. Now,
yes.
Here in the United Kingdom, if you call a plumber, there's already a call-out fee. There is already a call-out fee of I think between 35 to 50 pounds, something like that.
I know.
And the plumber could come to your house and whatever it was that was wrong with your washing machine or whatever. Could be
washing machine, yes, a small, yeah.
But that call-out charge is a standard. And if the guy comes to your house and it was your fault, there was actually nothing wrong, you still have to pay. So we really need to value service delivery in Africa or in Nigeria in particular. Now, you spent 5 hours with this guy. You had traveled all the way from the mainland to Ikoyi, and he wasn't ready to pay for all of that. And if I can calculate all of that, that's probably a good 8 hours in total.
Absolutely.
8 hours is a lot. It is a lot. So this is some of the this is some of the mindset that we want to change. And Ola is saying something here. And then just thought to share this. It's my reset button. Make a careful exploration of who you are and the work you have been given, and then sink yourself into that. Don't be impressed with yourself. Don't compare yourself with others. Each of you must take responsibility for doing the creative best you can with your own life. Absolutely. Absolutely. You want to go into any business, you need to do all that. You need to do the needful. Do all that you can to make sure that you go out there with the right skills and that you are able to deliver the best. And I would just like to share this quote. I believe in the dignity of labor, whether with head or hand, that the world owes no man a living, but it owes every man an opportunity to make a living. And this was by John D. Rockefeller.
Fella.
Yeah, and I really hope that in our businesses we would play our part. And I can't applaud you enough, Bola, for what you do, because you are already creating an opportunity for internship here. And because you're someone who is so thorough, who really pays attention to detail, I mean, quality matters to you. Naturally, anyone who comes to learn under your wings will be doing the same. Absolutely. From customer service to quality delivery, because it's not just about the product, also it's about how we deliver the product. It's also about the experience, right? Because people are calling you back, not just because of the product itself, because it's you, because of the experience also, because it's not just about buying, the product. Sometimes you're buying because of the person behind the product sometimes, or the service. And this is where we really need to also step up in terms of customer service. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see.
Can I share something?
Please do.
Talking about this callback clientship. We worked for a client who has called us about 10 years ago, and is outside of Nigeria, outside of Lagos, sorry. Yeah. And it was somewhere in Akure. And do you know he sent back a whole 50-liter palm oil to me? He sent it back with the driver that went with my worker. I've not even taken delivery of it. I was shocked.
Wow.
He sent me a whole. Abe knows what I'm saying when it comes to palm oil. She lives in Abuja, and he said, sorry, I would have sent you yam as well, but because we take yam from Abuja, so just manage this 50-liter palm oil.
Wow.
That's about, I can't even begin to quantify or qualify how much that really means. That meant a lot to me. And what did I do? What did I do? I just did something extra. I went an extra mile to just give that service a top notch. And it went a long way. Did it cost me money? Yes. But at the end of the day, he has become a friend and not just a client.
Wow.
He's become a friend.
Wow. Customer service all the way. And that is my approach. That is my approach. And that's how we were brought up anyway. That's how we were brought up. What is what's doing is what's doing well. Absolutely. Look, I'm that kind of person. Tell me to wash a dish, it will be the cleanest dish ever. Tell me to do anything, I immerse myself in it. I cannot understand how anybody can do anything and not do it properly. I can't comprehend it.
I can't.
I simply cannot comprehend it. And I just, hope that, especially for people who have businesses, that they will pay attention to quality and pay attention to customer service. Absolutely. Yes, this is so important. Yes, I think we have one more comment here. You went to Top Skill Craft. Okay.
Yes, one Top Skill Craft, yes.
Okay. They are not ready to pay for Top Skill Craft. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, if you need Bolanle's services, you can link up with her on Instagram at Me Blogs. If you're building a house, you don't want your house to collapse, go to Bolanle. Go to Bolanle. She does not compromise, okay? She does not compromise at all. And she's also on Instagram as Mary Edwards, INT. Now, Bola, given that our next door neighbors are doing tiling better than us, it's rather, it's disturbing, It is disturbing because you talked about how we have so much high unemployment. What do we do? How I mean, because I know there are so many people who use people from Cotonou and Togo.
Yeah,
that is at a disadvantage to our unemployed youths.
Absolutely, it is. And I mean, it's a slap in our face for us to be calling people from other countries to come work for us here.
It's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment.
Yeah, it's an embarrassment. It shouldn't happen. The correction is taking place. Like I said, it's going to be a long journey. But some people in different sectors, I can speak for myself. that we're beginning to look inward. You must remove the log in your own eye before going outside to remove somebody else's own.
Yeah.
So we want to begin to churn out well-baked, well-groomed people who have handiwork, and not just people who can put tools together, not a carpenter who can knock wood together, not a bricklayer who can put cement and blocks together, not a fashion designer who can just sew. And it is what you see is what you get. Like you see on Instagram, they'll tell you before and after. This was what I said, that this is what I'm getting. You see the dress looking so baggy, and it's not what exactly she ordered for. So we need to correct all of that, and that is beginning to happen. I see that happen now.
Good.
Yes,
That's
and
good.
I see people turn down jobs now and say, sorry, I am busy. My tailor tells me,
Very good.
"Ma, I don't want to disappoint you. I would not want to take any more jobs until so and so time." And I appreciate it.
Yeah,
It's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening.
That's very good. That's the mind.
That's a mind shift. So we will stop calling the Ghanaians to come teach our children maths and English. What happened to us here? The Ghanaians are meant to be teaching all the best subjects. They're the best cobblers. Why are we not doing those things and making sure that we are doing the best that we can to make sure that our services are top notch? So really, we're getting there. I'm looking at it. It's going to be a dream come true. It's going to be a very slow and steady journey, but we'll get there.
We will get there. But the thing is, as business owners, we need to pay attention to training. We really need to invest in the people that are working for us, so that they can also grow and be the best that they can possibly be. And I think this is what we're going to call it an evening. I think we have just one more comment. Make vocational skills sexy. I love that, Stella. Make it sexy. Absolutely.
It's sure that's why we are lady carpenters. When you see me going to Mushi to go and buy wood, you won't recognize me anymore.
Absolutely.
All this you don't see. I mean, Mushi, I'm buying my wood, I'm buying my toolbox and everything.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, you should enjoy what you do. When people see the passion in what you do, they would want to even patronize you. Oh, that's a woman. We have lady mechanics now.
Yeah.
We have lady mechanics all over Nigeria.
Absolutely.
Who are doing better at what they do.
So and really, women pay attention to detail. Women pay attention to detail. In fact, women we do things a whole lot better. That's another discussion. I mean, look at the president or is it prime minister in New Zealand? Look at what she's doing. Yeah, look at what she's doing. Women do great jobs. And I'm looking to Tanzania now because the lady she's taking over. I have my eyes on her. But we really have to go now. Now, to my audience, thank you so much, as always, for showing up. We will see you again next Sunday, same time, same place. Thank you very much. And Bolanle, thank you for for investing your time with us this evening. We have thoroughly enjoyed your conversation here this evening.
Thank you.
And thank you. So bye-bye to everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.